Hi, I'm Mason Duchatschek, and welcome to another episode of The Mason Duchatschek Show. Today I'd like to share some thoughts that I think may be helpful to you. I was reflecting today on a book that I read probably 20 years ago, and a lot of it is still relevant. The book was called Strategic Selling, and it was by two guys, Miller and Hyman, and they talked about a lot of things, but it was basically about strategic selling in major accounts. And one of the things that they talked about was this thing called response modes. And that is basically the receptivity of your prospects or customers when you contact them. And one of the response modes was overconfident. And response modes is really how people respond to an offer of change. And one of them was overconfident. If you or members of your sales team contact a prospect, one response mode is overconfident. They're like, hey, you know what? Things are going so well for us right now that I'm not interested in what you have to offer. It could only make things worse. We're doing so well, I don't want to mess with anything. And the chances of making a sale to someone who is in an overconfident response mode is very slim. Another response mode is someone who is even keel. Might be okay, might not. They're not dead set against change, but they're not looking forward either. And your chances of making a sale is someone who's somewhat receptive to change, but not in a big hurry. It's okay, but nothing to write home about. The other one is growth. That's a response mode. If you're calling on, or your reps are calling on a company who is going through growth, they can be receptive to new ideas or new strategies or ways to do things that they haven't done before. And probability of sale can be decent in those cases. And then there's trouble. That's the other response mode. If you or a salesperson representing your company calls on someone who is going through trouble, they're practically begging you for your help. And the chances, if you have a solution to their problem, your chances of doing business with them are quite high. Now, the interesting thing is, Alan Minster was the co-author of my first book, and he always used to say that one of the biggest challenges most businesses have is being in front of those prospects when they're ready to buy. I mean, we're always ready to sell, but prospects aren't always ready to buy. So how do you get in front of those prospects when they're ready to buy? And he believed in the concept of nurture marketing, which means you stay in touch with them until they are ready. The interesting thing about the strategic selling concept is, and one of the things I talked about was, someone can go from overconfident to trouble in a blink of an eye. Someone who wasn't receptive to what you were proposing last week could be knocking down your door today. So what's the takeaway from this? The takeaway is stay in touch with people, maintain your relationships, be nice, be kind, be helpful, and be there, always. And if you can do those things, there's a lot to be said. I mean, people always say nice guys finish last, and I don't think so. I think the nice guys who develop relationships with their current and potential prospects and stay in touch with them until there's a need and can demonstrate and prove their expertise and knowledge and ability, those people aren't going to finish last. They're going to finish first. And I just hope that this is encouraging to some of you who have been developing relationships with clients for a long time, and I hope that this inspires you to continue to do so. Thanks.